So we move on to our next discussion by another great scholar, scientist, and administrator, and the writer whose two poetry collections we released day before yesterday. We have with us Professor Surindra Ji. He also has 3 novels to his credit. He has authored several books on physics and was honored with a Distinguished Author Award in 2011 by the Federal of Educational Publishers, New Delhi. I invite you, Professor Sir, to please come up on the virtual stage and express your views on this topic. Professor Surindra Lalji, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Madam Parneet. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you
Madam
are.
Parneet, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
I extend warm greetings to everybody and thankful to Dr. Janel Singh for inducting me to this elite poetic club. I am a man of science, as you stated. Much of my task on speaking on the topic has been done by the literary giants, Basudev Chakrabarti ji and Dr. Kalpana Purohit. I cannot speak at the level which they have spoken. My total education and background is in physics, and physics is fuses mean nature. I have been observing, studying, and drawing inferences. Therefore, much of my talk will be on a very, very different plane, not on of the type which the two literary giants have spoken. I will just talk about what I have observed in all these times, and I will be trying to limit myself within 10 to 11 minutes, as Dr. Janel Singh has said. You see, in calamities like flood, hurricane, cyclone, earthquakes, people come together to share the grief by helping the suffering lot. But a pandemic is different, savagely cruel, with unpredictable course and duration of spell. First wave, second wave, third wave, and who knows, there may be an nth wave, as Madam Praneeth used this term, nth wave. It's a mathematical term. In the present corona pandemic, people are directed to isolate themselves, keep distance, and be masked. All this affects the human relationship in bizarre ways. The pandemic may pleasantly mend relationship, painfully end relationship, and may even send them forever to the other world. We are all seeing this happen around us. So whatever I will speak now is based on my observation. For the last 1.5 years, we have been through this pandemic. While going through an article in Bombay Mirror, I came across a story of a couple fiercely fighting for divorce in the days when COVID's first wave struck. Suddenly, lockdown was announced, and husband and wife, which were living in different towns, had no option but to go back to their home in Bombay, which still was intact. Due to lockdown, the courts also didn't function for a month or so. During that period, they were forced to live in their home and make food out of whatever they had in their home before they departed. And after 1 month, when the divorce petition was put up before the court for hearing, none of them went to the court, and they are living together happily thereafter. This is mending of relationships. Now, if we go through the newspaper around the world, many divorce petitions are pending because by living at different places due to pandemic constraints, the couples are suspecting infidelity, whether it's real or virtual, and that is leading to ending of relationships. And now comes the case when relationships may be sent to the other world. I know of a friend of mine, a very prominent doctor. We had a 50 years long association. After retirement as principal of a medical college, he put all his savings to build a hospital, also took loans for his son, who too was in the same specialty as his father. His son became a COVID victim. I couldn't mourn his death. My friend didn't want me to be exposed as the COVID was at its peak. Then bad luck. If it comes, it never rains, but it pours. He himself died due to corona. But before dying, he asked me to pray for him that he gets a few years lease of life to bring up his 2 grandchildren and make them settle in the hospital. But he too died, leaving young children behind to fend for themselves. He has gone to the other world. Family shattered, hospital shuttered. Now this is the ending of relationships. From mending to ending to sending to the other world. What will happen to any one of us? Nobody knows. Now talking about the children, they are a very sensitive and vulnerable lot. Exposure to gruesome pictures of disease and death cause fear and anxiety in their minds. And they might grow up as a terrified lot, always living in suspicion, always living in fear of death. What type of generation would that be is anybody's guess. We work hard. We want to make a name because we hope for a better tomorrow, because we feel that we too will rise up with the sun. But when tomorrow is doubtful, we live every moment in uncertainty. Further, due to lack of exercise, it is leading to obesity, sleep disturbance, and all that may even lead to premature deaths. Our next generation is threatened. And the worst of all is falling prey to the internet and the cell phone addiction that has become a necessary evil due to online teaching. Once this uncertain pandemic is hopefully over, there will be serious difficulties in readjusting to the previous schedules. Many of the children during this period, I told you I am a person of physics, and physics means just observation. I cannot be a philosopher because that's not my subject, and I'm very grateful to my previous speaker. Respected, they have dealt with the topic in a very, very philosophical way. Mine is a practical one. Many of the children during the period have developed serious arthritic problems, cervical spondylitis, wrist arthritis. They are unable to write as their fingers pain. I know of the only grandson of my very close friend. In a race to beat everyone in the online teaching, the boy worked so hard that he developed cervical problems to an extent that he staggered in his room, hit the bed corner, and at the age of 17, he was no more. This is a very frightening scenario. And one shudders to think about the future because the enemy we are facing is invisible. It is said that the total coronavirus in the world weighs just 1.5 grams, nothing. And apart from this, this virus is very intelligent for its size. Whenever it sees a masked or a vaccinated person, it runs away to seek soft targets. And then it is chaining its strains also because its main purpose is to attack, to maim, to maul, to cause death, to cause havoc. We are coming up with various assurances and theories that after third waves, the things might be all right. Who knows? Now here my science comes into picture. As a student of physics, I believe strongly in two very fundamental laws. One of them is in ancient philosophy also. That's called Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg was given a Nobel Prize for that, which states, shorn of its mathematical complexities, it states in a very simple way that one can never predict the course of things. It is all uncertain. And this second law is the law of entropy. Entropy means chaos, disorder. This states, and this rules out any decrease in chaos or disorder. Please, though it's a very sad thing, but never expect the world to grow wiser and the world to become less turbulent, because it will be against the laws of nature. We can at best make our world stay, we can make the disorder, chaos stay where it is now, but we cannot restore the order that has been already lost. To me, all thoughts that this pandemic will be thing of the past are only to calm down our nerves. You might have seen that protocols, medicines, etc., which were relevant till a few days ago, have now become redundant. New protocols are enforced. For example, blood transfusion and that sphere and all those medicines, they have now banned. New protocols have been, but who knows that these new protocols may also be dumped very soon. As I said earlier, we are fighting a highly intelligent enemy. Possibly that enemy has come to teach us a lesson, how we have to live and behave, and probably to settle the score for all our misdeeds that we have done in disregarding nature. But there is nothing to lose heart. I am not that pessimistic. In spite of all this, we have just not to lower our guards against the enemy. Medical infrastructure, which has been recently strengthened, should not dismantle the way we did after the first wave. New norms should become a part of our habit. And then children should be encouraged that such calamities have come and gone, and the mankind has always survived. There is no place for pessimism. Children have to be constantly told that only those who are fit, they will survive. Now, lest this whole discussion become serious, I would now like to digress a little to let my friends know my personal take on pandemic in a different way. I was told, a friend of mine, that he went to a bank to get his work done. Another person with a mask came and wanted his work to be done first. Both were adamant and were almost on the verge of fighting. But my friend listened carefully to the man's voice. It seemed to him to be very familiar. The man was wearing a cap also. That made recognition all the more difficult. When that man just unmasked himself, took up a bit, my friend realized that they were colleagues for the last half a decade, half a century in the same college. They hugged each other, shook hands as long as they could do. Feel-good hormones like serotonin, dopamine, they started flowing in abundance. My friends, it is the lack of these happiness hormones, the hugs, the handshakes that are murdering us all. Then again another idea. In these times, the idioms too have changed. We used to say, keep your enemy at an arm's length. Now we have to keep 2 yards distance from everyone, both enemy and friend. And then the meaning, the phrase, face-to-face talk has now become mask to mask, mask to mask, and that too at a distance of 6 feet. Another very hilarious observation, while looking for a match for the marriageable children, The parents will search for a family which is negative. If the family is positive, no business. Positive has not become a dreaded word. Negative is soul stirring. So let us be all negative and pray not to turn positive anytime. Now coming to still a little humorous aspect of this talk, my friends would recall a song from an old Hindi movie, Na Muh Chupa Ke Diyo, which means don't live hiding your face. But now this slogan is different. If we have to live Muh Chupa Ke Diyo, mask your face, then what type of word would that be where every face is masked? And in this August Poetry Assembly, I would like to recall a ballad by John Keats that I read in my 12th class, La Belle Dame Sans Mercy. Now Keats would have to reinvent a new term for haggard, as his knight at arms is falling through on arms and is masked and is showing no feelings at all. With all these words, I would like to thank this August Poetic Assembly for listening to me and giving me their most valuable time. May you all be blessed and have nice time. Prayers for bright future for all of us and our generation. And now I end up by saying that we usually depart and say each other, hope to meet you soon. I will say like this, hope we all meet at WPC-III soon before rendezvous with the stars and the moon. Thank you very much for your love and affection. And I wish to thank Dr. Janelle Singh and Dr. Kaur also for being honored. He deserves all of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Singh.
I think I'm within time.
Yes, so thank you so much. Thank you for that experiential analysis of the pandemic. And yes, experience is the best teacher, no rivals it has.